You saw Dr. Heaps for 8 years, right?
Yes.
And looking back, you now know every time you saw him, you feel like you were assaulted by him.
Absolutely.
Tell me what you feel comfortable talking about and how you were manipulated into coming back time and time again.
Sure. So the first time that I went to Dr. Heaps' office, and let me preface by saying at the time, I consider him Dr. Heaps. At this point, he's no longer a doctor. Since his conviction, he will no longer have his license ever again, and he will always be registered as a sex offender. But at the time, I went to his office and knew that I had had some misdiagnosis in the year prior. And I had been told that if I wanted the proper treatment, I needed to see the very best doctor in the entire area, and that was Dr. Heaps. The first time I went into his office, he took me into his private office, not into an exam room, and spoke with me a bit. And I explained my situation, explained an autoimmune disorder, and he immediately told me that I was at a very high risk of terminal cancer and that he would need to monitor my condition very frequently, and that he himself was the only doctor in the area who knew how to treat the condition and that everyone else treated it improperly. So from that moment, I was terrified. No one had ever told me that. Since that time, I now know that that's incorrect information. I'm at no greater risk than you or anyone else.
Yeah.
But he instilled fear in me to ensure that I would return frequently.
So you believe that the grooming started right then?
100%. I think for most people, when you hear the word cancer, it's terrifying. And I had a toddler at home at the time, and all I could think of is, I want to be alive to see her graduate high school. There's no way I will do anything to risk that. So of course I'll do what this doctor, who was highly recommended and was at UCLA Health, if he tells me to come, I will come.
So look at the elements here, and this is what I want people to recognize. Look at the backdrop. He's at a world-renowned medical center. He's got all the entrapments and all. He puts the stakes as high as they can possibly be, your life, and says he's the only one that has any information about this that could potentially save your life. So then he gets you on a schedule coming in, and you say he performed very thorough internal exams and with great frequency, more than you had ever had with any other doctor in any way whatsoever.
Yes. For instance, in the first 12 months that I was a patient in his office, he asked that I come back 7 times. And I now know that was completely unnecessary. A once-a-year annual exam was all that was needed. And every office visit included internal examinations, which I also know an autoimmune skin disorder does not require anything internal at all.
Yeah. And there were times that he wouldn't wear gloves?
Correct.
So straight skin-to-skin contact?
Correct.
And was there a chaperone in the room?
Not at all times. And when there was a chaperone, often the chaperone would turn and face a computer or appear to be busy elsewhere and not watching what was going on during the exam.
And he would make inappropriate comments about your body, body parts, things of that nature?
Yes, he made comments about the appearance or attractiveness of different parts of my body. He commented about the size in comparison to other women. And when he would do his breast exams, which would be skin to skin, he would use his entire hand and had made comments about my breasts and how my husband should be happy about different parts of my body.
Do you have a story or a question for me? Click the link in the description and tell me what in the world is going on.